Coming up on today's CodeBet Daily, a huge preliminary final weekend across AFL and NRL, as well as some NFL from me. We're talking player props, game picks, best bets. There's a Rate My Multi. There's actually about 3 of them. And of course, the donation. Stats guy, what are you looking at?
A few sneaky bets in the Brownlow, and I fire up Alex about the North London Derby.
You really do. What about you, Alex?
Just proving stats go wrong on a regular basis. But of course, the donation to finish the week off.
Very nice. It's CodeBet Daily. Check it out right now. Welcome to CodeBet Daily. It is Friday, September 22, aka Preliminary Final Friday. That's right, gentlemen. We've got a huge weekend of sport ahead. We've got prelims in both the AFL and the NRL. It's a big weekend of sport. And what better way to preview it than with CodeBet Daily? That's right. Episode 200. That's right. Well, it's actually kind of 201, but
101.
Nah, 200.
It's kind of, I don't know, yesterday was the AFL show. We've got the NRL show. Everyone's kind of lost count, but 200 sounds pretty good. A nice round number. I'm your host, Jaymz Clements. I'm the editor of CodeBet. That's a good website. You can find that at codebet.com.au for all your betting analyses and odds comparison needs. Breaking down every single one of these prelims that we're about to talk about again. We've talked about them in the AFL and NRL shows. They're going to pop up again in a surprise twist. I'm joined, as always, though, by the Pontiffs. I've got the stats guy down there. He finally joined us.
Yeah, I had a bit of troubles, but we're in here now. Crazy that we're at the 200. It felt like we just did the 100th not that long with the crazy party poppers. We'll have to get some party poppers next week for the 203rd or whatever we're up to next week. So...
Good job.
Yeah,
great stuff.
Yeah, good chat, guys. Well done.
I'm glad you thought that one out. All right, and we've got Alex Donnelly over there as well.
Look, I don't know about you, stats guy, but I did find it kind of poignant that Rupert Murdoch announced that he was stepping down the day after we did episode 200. I'm just saying. He's like, I've hit the peak, boys. I'm out.
Yeah, it could be considered the peak or the nadir. So, it's like either or. He's like, look what I've wrought. Anyway, CodeBet Daily today. It's Code Prelim Daily, but we're going to cover a bunch of other sports as well, no doubt. It is a Friday show, which is always a fun show because it means we've got the player props, game picks, best bets, but also there's always a Rate My Multi in there, of course. And, of course, everyone's favourite Friday spot, the donations. So... looking ahead, I'm going to look at some AFL, NRL, both the prelims. I'll just do some game picks in there as well. One quick little player prop. But if you want to have a listen to all of those games broken down, you can listen to the AFL and NRL shows, of course. And a big week 3 of the NFL ahead. I've got some game picks in there and a couple of player props too. Stats guy, what about you?
A bit of Brownlow, a little sneaky bet there. EPL, as I missed that show during the week, and some AFLW.
Nice one. Alex?
Some more EPL, some AFL, and of course the donation.
Love it. Let's get into it. Let's do some player props.
Player props.
Coming out your nose. Charlie Cameron's going to kick 4+ on Saturday, gentlemen. $5. Thank you.
Done. Good show.
Multi it with Joe Danaher 4+.
I've got Joe Danaher right here as well because head-to-head goal kickers, Joe Danaher versus Charlie Curnow. Ooh. Big Joe, $3.60, which is actually really good. Because you could easily see, even if Charlie doesn't get around the 4+, you could see Joe get to 3 and Charlie just gets smothered up. Charlie Curnow being that. Smothered up, only managing maybe 1 or 2. Maybe Big Hazard gets in his way a couple of times, spoils everything, then has a ping at the sticks and misses everything and sends the ball into Moreton Bay. But I like the Joe Danaher versus Charlie Curnow one. Like Charlie's got zero value. It's like $1.50. And it's like, well, we could kick it back. But I feel like the Charlie aspect of this game, we didn't really lean on him too much when we talked about it in yesterday's show, right? It's because you have this vibe of like, oh, well, they touted him up last time. It's like, yeah, it wasn't Marvel. And I believe in terms of the team setup, it's a little bit different this time for Brisbane and obviously for Carlton because they'll have fit and firing Jack Martin. They'll have Harry Mackay. It's going to be a bit weird, a little bit different. No Matt Owies, which is strange, but... we could probably look at Charlie. The problem is there's just no value. So it's kind of like smooth it over, just go head-to-head, go Joe.
Yeah.
A couple of quick little player props to the NFL. Rookie running backs. This is a great matchup. We've got a strange old game coming up on, 3 a.m. on Monday. You've got the Detroit Lions of football up against the Atlanta Falcons. 2 highly touted running backs who have been really good so far, Jameer Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. Bijan's been unreal. 2 touchdowns for Bijan. It's only $4.75. That's how good he's been. The Detroit defense is not very good. So you could throw in 100 yards as well for Bijan and a touchdown. He'd be probably sitting I remember the $2.30 mark. Not much, but I really like Bijan in that game. And then Jamar Gibbs to have a really breakout game. David Montgomery, they've been doing a bit of a timeshare in that Detroit backfield. So Jameer Gibbs now gets it with David Montgomery going down with an injury. So 70-plus yards and a touchdown for Jameer, 335, which is actually pretty good. Just because he'll probably get a pretty hefty amount of volume. The Atlanta defense has been handy through the first couple of games, but this Detroit offense will just give him plenty of chances. So I think he gets to that pretty easily. So I do like the rookie running back head-to-head matchup in that one. They're probably my two favorite player props actually from the NFL week, because I think once you get to the later games on Monday morning, it's not great. It's really
Just
not.
stay away from
it. I think there's a couple of stay away games. There's a couple of other ones, but there you go. There's my favorite ones. What about you there? Let's go, Alex.
Okay, yeah. Having a look at the North London derby that's on Sunday night at 11 p.m. as Arsenal take on Tottenham. Having a look at Martin Odegaard or Bukayo Saka to score. Ladbrokes have got a bunch of new markets at the moment. It's across all sports. We'll get to that later on as well with an AFL pick. But Saka or Odegaard to score is $1.87 for the two. So we just get one goal from either of them, $1.87. Bukayo Saka has scored a goal in 3 of his last 4 home games. As I said, in the EPL show with Marcus earlier in the week, it feels like Saka just has been cruising through the early parts of the season. And when it gets to the bigger games, like, oh, that's right, I'm the best winger in the world. I'm going to show you. He showed that on, I think he is. He showed that yesterday in the Champions League, scored the first goal for Arsenal, was absolutely everywhere, but still didn't really go to like a big level that he know he can. This Sunday, North London derby at home, 2 unbeaten teams. He's going to go to another level. He's $2.80 just to score any time on his own, and I don't mind that either. Same with Odegaard. He scored an absolute cracker of a goal yesterday morning on the left foot, outside the box. Bang. Third one he scored in the last couple of months. Absolutely love the captain. He's $3 to score anytime. Nothing more than he loves doing is scoring a goal against Tottenham. To finish off in that game, Declan Rice to score or assist, $3.75. And just, he is amazing. I can't believe how good he actually has settled into Arsenal since coming across from West Ham. He's an utter freak. He scored in 3 of the last 4 games on a Sunday when his team has been the favourite. I love that stat line.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday. Love it. He scored against Manchester United, so that helps. But he's just been absolutely everywhere, just setting up a lot of play for Arsenal. And I think he'll just slip a little bit forward there and catch the defence napping. And $3.75 to score or assist. I love it. We'll finish off with some footy tonight. Tommy Green, 35-plus possessions, $2.35. He's got that 35-plus in 3 of his last 4 and 4 of his last 6 overall. And then the other duo bet, Jake Riccardi and Toby Green to kick 5+ goals as a duo. $3 with Ladbrokes. I am all over that.
$3. So
they get the duo. I don't mind that.
That's
yeah.
A rough one.
So Ladbrokes have a lot of ones as duos and trios and things like that, as well as like in EPL goal scoring and assists. There's a lot of stuff there. So if you dig, there's some gold to find there, punters.
Nice.
All right. Stats guy.
My favourite thing to bet on every year, player to poll at least 1 vote in the Brownlow. Absolutely love these markets. I think it was Alex earlier in the week talked about Taron Thomas on one of the co-bet dailies that we weren't in. So Taron Thomas, $1.88. He's my favourite this year. I can't believe he's that price. I know he missed a lot of the year, just a few reasons. He was out of the north side. But he had 2 games.
Say it's because he was a dick.
Yeah, because he was a dick. He's I don't really like him, but he's a gun, and I think he could be a future All-Australian if he keeps his stuff off field. Yeah, just under wraps. But yeah, $1.88. He had the game that
I don't know if it needs to be under wraps.
I just think he's got to stop doing it.
Stop doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, stats guy. It's fine doing illegal stuff. Just don't put it on socials. How about you don't do it?
I don't think he has enough brain cells to stop doing it. So I just think he should just stop posting.
Noted Taron Thomas hater, stats guy.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a gun player for us. But yeah, $1.88. He had 22 and 10 clearances, 22 disposals that is, and 10 clearances against the Suns in that win we had in the last round. So I think he could easily poll a vote there. He had another couple of games with 10 clearances. Like, there's not many players on the ground getting 10 clearances. It is tougher when North obviously didn't win many games. But those sort of games that we got really close in, I think we can steal a vote. And a couple of those games, he was the by far dominant player. Also including a few of those games, LDU was out. I think he'll lead or be close to our votes with Sheasel and and those sort of players. So when LDU was out, Taron Thomas just stepped up. So $1.88 I think is really good there. Cade Chandler for the Ds, probably $1.87 as well. I think he's a really good bet here. He did multiple 16 plus disposal and 3 goal games in wins. So I think even if you got Clarion Track dominating, you can easily get a vote when they've dominated the game, especially against North. He had 21 and 3 goals, absolutely killed us. I think Fritsch got 4 goals and Clary got 30-something touches, but I reckon he could easily steal at least a 1 vote there. Then another one for Port, Willie Rioli. First round, I reckon he's going to get a vote in the first round. He had 16 disposals and 3 goals against the Lions. They absolutely smashed him. I think he started them off. I think he got the first goal in that game as well. He had 6 games this year with 3+ goals. Now, not always the forwards get the votes, but I reckon he could easily steal a 1 vote. So $2.65 for Willie Rioli, I think is really good value. And then another one, more of a sneaky one with Geelong, Zach Tui, $2.70. He had multiple games with 20+ disposals and a goal. Not always the most flashy guy going around, but he started off the season, a couple of games where he even had 2 goals and 18+ disposals. So just some guys that are probably not going to get your 3 vote sort of games. Maybe Taron Thomas in that last round, but sneaky 1 vote. Why not get on it?
I reckon Rioli's in trouble in that Port Adelaide game. I've just got the stats up here. Wines had 30 and a goal. Todd Marshall kicked 4. Charlie Dixon had 15 touches and 3 goals. Horn Francis 25 and a goal.
I watched that game. I really set up I'm not sure about the exact goal assist, but he would have had a lot of score involvement in that one as well. So, but he had
thinking who's got a kid. It's Jim. Jim's kid crying in the back. The Dash just doesn't agree.
He doesn't agree with my bet. Yeah,
he's like, I hate Zach Tui, even though he's a former Blue. We love former Blues, but geez. I love the Cade Chandler one because that's definitely a name that pops up at the bottom of like one of these rounds. It's like one Cade Chandler, and you're like,
you're like, sure,
yeah. Just to get one. I don't even care if they get 1 vote.
I put the Taron Thomas one is in the Team Brownlow thing that we're putting together. My best bet for North Melbourne this year was Taron Thomas to get 1 vote.
Yeah, nice. Honestly, good bet.
Because LDU is $1.08 to win, and he's going to win, and that's just no doubt.
Caesar won't be that far behind, I reckon. But yeah.
Taron Thomas also odds on to get 3 votes for being a giant bell end.
Yes.
Right.
Also would back Taron Thomas to beat Stats Guy in a fight.
I mean,
he's pretty big.
We've backed inanimate objects to beat Stats Guy in a fight.
That's true. We did beat the Blues to back Stats Guy.
I'll take both of you guys. It's all good.
Let's do some game picks.
What's your best match or game pick?
What is my match and or game pick, me? Well, here are the AFL and NRL lines and over-unders. GWS, plus 10.5 in the over. $3.70. Thank you very much. Thank your mother for the rabbits. $3.70. This is going to fly over, I reckon. And I think GWS keep in touch with the Pies, if not win this game outright.
Come on, the Giants.
Minus 19.5 as well, and the over. I think this might be the sort of straw that breaks the camel's back of Carlton. Obviously, when it comes to like the scoring output, the defense has been really good, but as we've sort of pointed out on the AFL show, a lot of that came down to the other team missing a lot of goals. Brisbane at the Gabba, they should be fine. The over actually scooched back up to 169 for that game too, so I'll still probably be okay with that. If only because Brisbane could kick 120 and Carlton will limp their way to 50 and we're all good. Breaks your heart. NRL, Melbourne. I'm going against you two gentlemen, I think, with this pick. The plus 13.5 for the Storm. I think Penrith, we've talked about them
You're
all
also
season.
against Phil.
Well, what can you do? Just a man on an island with a big beard. Plus 13.5 for the Storm. This is obviously the fun line because it's the 13+ win for Penrith, or the 1-12 sort of line. It's a strange one. The under 39.5. I think Penrith just put the clamps on them, park the bus. Melbourne just keep it close enough, and this is like a 24-12 win or something like that, right? And it so goes under the 39.5 point line. Melbourne covered the 13.5, and we cashed $2.85. The other one's interesting though, so I don't know how you guys feel about the over for Warriors Broncos. It's 42.5, and for the Warriors to cover the line, which is 10.5, and that over to hit is $5.20, which I kind of like, because I think if the Warriors get into like a little bit of a shootout and they actually put up some points, like the Broncos obviously hang with them.
Yeah, the last couple of times were like 26, 22 as well. So
my multi with Phil yesterday was Penrith to win and the under, so no worry about the margin, but Warriors at the line and the over. And the overs, it came out to like a $12 multi for just those two selections.
It's pretty good. So the $5.20 for the Warriors plus 10.5 in the over. I love that. So I'll be jumping on board that. Quick NFL multi if we want to rate this one, Gerald.
Rate my multi.
All right, we've got my beloved New England Patriots, 1.5 point favorites over the New York Jetropolitans. The Jets,
I like that.
Jets, Zach Wilson. But I did point out on NFL Australia this week, I'm not convinced that Mac Jones, the Patriots quarterback, isn't just Zach Wilson but with a better coach.
Sure.
Prove me wrong, boys. Yeah. Prove me wrong. But the Pats defense should be a little bit too good. This game is going to stink. I'm going to hate every minute of it, and the Pats will win by 2. And cover that line. Baltimore minus 8.5 over Indy. The Colts got a win last week over the Texans. That's their win for the first half of a season, I reckon. Baltimore are going to smash them. Baltimore got a lot of injuries, but they're still really good, so it doesn't really bother me. Tennessee plus 3.5 over Cleveland. The Browns, Deshaun Watson's been absolutely putrid. I don't know if the massage parlors up there in Cleveland are lacking, shall we say, but he has not been himself at all, and he downright stinks. And all Tennessee do is cover. And if you're going to give me plus 3.5 for Tennessee, I will take that because they can run into Cleveland's defense is absolutely obliterating teams, but they still lost last week to Pittsburgh. And I think Tennessee can cover that line even if they lose by 3. We're good. Seattle minus 6.5 over the Carolina Panthers. Speaking of teams that stink, this is a rookie QB on the road against a high-powered offense. Give me Seattle minus 6.5. Everything I can do on that game, I will be all over it. Carolina do not look good. Bryce Young looks very small. Seattle's defense is not very good, but it won't really matter, I think, against Carolina. I'm loath to trust teams like Detroit and Seattle at this point because you can never trust a team if their defense is that bad, but this should be just a smoking. So give me Seattle minus 6.5. Multi that up. It's $11.38 with BetR, and I don't mind this because you're kind of getting a couple of squishy ones with the Tennessee plus 3.5, and obviously the Pats only 1.5. So, gentlemen, rate that multi.
I'll give it a 9, I reckon. I really like it. I don't know as much about NFL, but I like the Pats minus 1.5 because even if, like you said, they've had a lot of close games, so if they're going to win, probably won't be by that much, so the line's still pretty good there.
They're also 0-2, and it's pretty hard to see the Pats being 0-3, and I believe they've won 14 straight games over the Jetropolitans. So
14, wow.
And we've got Alex there wearing a Titans hat, so I think this is
a 10. He's got
this is a 10. Because of my beloved Tennessee Titans, this is a 10.
Nice one. It's a visual podcast as well. You love to see that. All right. What about you there? I think we've got another Rate My Multi here from Alex.
Rate my multi.
Yeah, some EPL over-unders once again. So we'll rip through them. Manchester City and over 2.5 goals against Nottingham Forest. It's $1.50. That should just cash. You can easily see a 4-1 win here coming to City. I just don't care. City is so boring to watch. It sucks.
Yeah, they're just too good.
Well, it's not that they're too good. It's just they just play this robotic, boring style. It's just like, I don't care. Wolves and under 3.5 against Luton Town. That's $4. This game's not going to be great, but I think Wolves will get the job done there. Luton aren't great, and Wolves probably should have won a couple of games by now. Brentford and under 3.5 against Everton. I don't think Brentford have the firepower to score more than 3 goals, and Everton they'll put 10 behind the ball. This really feels like a 1 or 2-0 win to Brentford. Liverpool and West Ham, don't care about the result. We're just going to hit the over 2.5 at $1.50. Don't mind that whatsoever. Both teams have been scoring goals for fun this year. Liverpool scored 3 this morning in the Europa League, and West Ham still managed to squeak one past Man City last week. And finally, in the North London derby, Arsenal to win and over 3.5 goals against Tottenham. $3.50. Arsenal have scored 30 goals in the last 13 North London derbies at home, and the over 2.5 goals has hit in 11 of Arsenal's last 12 games at home, but we're going to bump it up to 3.5 here. Rate that multi at $55.12.
It's a lot of dodging, ducking and diving. I'm going to give it about a 8, though, because I like that the Liverpool-West Ham one is only the over. And
yeah, that'd be a really good game. So
it's going to be fun.
I'm going a bit lower, I reckon. Oh, Wolves, yeah.
The Wolves under 3.5 versus Luton. It should be all right as well. So
we said that last week with was it Luton against Fulham, and Fulham just squeaked by 1-0.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it a 4 or a 5. I'm going to talk about in my game picks next one. I'm a bit worried about the North London.
I'm betting you a sandwich on this because you are so wrong, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong after you tip it.
All right.
So that was a 4 or 5 from Stats Guy.
Yeah, I really
Wow.
like all of them except the North London Derby. I could easily see a bit of an upset going on there.
I don't know. I'm just surprised that Alex has gotten through 2 segments without just dumping on Chelsea just out of nowhere
Yeah.
for no reason. Like,
We got a random
it's weird.
game again. We got a rule in the EPL show. You can't include them in multis because they could
Should
randomly
we-
win. Anyway.
Should we send someone around to Alex's house? Like, he
Yeah.
might have actually, like that beeping under his sink might have
But
actually
Jim,
killed
also,
him.
it's your beloved Villa playing Chelsea this weekend. So
It's a big
they'll
game,
smash
actually.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will. Villa will kill him.
I tipped Marcus and I did tip Villa or draw.
Oh, really?
In that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Stats Guy, take us through your game picks.
All right. Firstly, I'll start off with just quickly with that North London derby. Not sure if Tottenham can win, but I really like the Tottenham or draw, the double chance market. I know that Arsenal at home, they're really strong, but they haven't been as strong to start off this season. They've conceded just 4 goals across the last 3 home games to start the season, but they have played some pretty average teams. Ange has got this Tottenham team absolutely humming. Even Richarlison's scoring goals, which is unbelievable. I know they just got over the line last week. It was a bit of a worry, but they've looked really, really strong in offense. I just think there's going to be a few goals in this game. It's going to be like a 1-0 or a 2-0, and Arsenal just hold on. They even drew to Fulham at home, so their home form over the last few years has been pretty good, but just to start this season hasn't been as strong. So yeah, Tottenham or draw at $2.12 in that North London derby. I really like. Even the draw, I think it's $4 something. Don't mind that. Put a bit of money on that. But my best bet of the weekend, I think it was you guys covered this in the EPL show as well. Brentford head-to-head against Everton. Everton absolutely stink. Brentford are $1.80. I think we did this almost every second week. Our best bet was Brentford at home. Brentford at home are absolutely awesome. They only lost 2 games there all season last season. Brian Mbeumo is absolutely stepped up in Ivan Toney's absence. He's got a goal in every game bar 1. Everton, they're just struggling to score. They don't have any attackers that are worth talking about. And then you got, Brentford there. Unbeaten in 3 of the last 4 meetings against Everton. So Brentford head-to-head to $1.80 has to be one of the best bets in all of sport this weekend, I think.
Nice one.
You're wrong about Tottenham. Their form is no good. They're coming up against a team
unbeaten.
Yeah, so are Arsenal. Their form is not great. They
It's the
struggled
same.
They struggled to beat Sheffield United. They conceded 2 to Burnley. They're coming up against a team with a really good defense and a structure to play in.
I don't know if your defense is very good. That's what I...
Have you not seen William Saliba just destroy everyone? If with Tottenham, they're going to play a high-pressing style like PSV did yesterday. Arsenal ripped them apart and scored 4 against them in second gear. I know,
PSV.
Ange, this is great. It's fantastic. They're going to get punched squarely in the face by Arsenal on Sunday. Arsenal are they went out of the blocks like psychopaths last year and were in front by a mile and got run down. Because I think this year they've realised, hey, you can't win a title in September, but you can definitely lose one. They're actually got more points at this time this year than they did last year. So they're actually going better, even though they're playing worse. Yeah. And that was their best performance on Thursday night. And Richarlison scoring against Sheffield United. He's paid $100 million to do so, and it was his first goal in a year at home. Like, come on.
He's back. And you can't compare Tottenham to last year. They're a whole new team this year. Anyway, that's I just wanted to get you fired up about that, and it worked.
Nah, they haven't won at North London since before you were a boy.
That's bait.
Yes.
I love it. All right, good stuff. Let's get into best bets.
It's best bets. It's best bets. It's time for all the best bets.
All right, Seattle Seahawks. I just mentioned them earlier in that Rate My Multi. The -6.5 for the Seahawks. I'm taking that, and the over against Carolina. That's $3.45. Thank you very much. 42.5 points in that game. That seems low. That's because Carolina are bad. Unfortunately, the good thing is Seattle have given up over 30 points in both of their games so far this season. They gave up 30 to the Rams in week 1. The Rams aren't very good. Like, let's be very honest. The Rams sort of stink. The Rams are going to fall to earth, and they gave up 31 in the 37-31 win last week against Detroit. Carolina will go in there to Seattle, and they'll have the 12th man going. They'll have some weird Seahawk that'll probably like rip off some dude's face. But the point is, like, Seattle's defense will give up at least 2 touchdowns to this horrible, horrible Carolina team. That gives you the 14, and I think this Carolina defense is not going to be slowing many people down. They gave up 20 last week in that weird, horrible loss to the New Orleans and the Falcons. Those were 2 divisional games, though. This is an outer division game. Seattle should put up plenty of points. And then that Atlanta-Detroit game that I mentioned earlier. Atlanta plus 3.5 versus Detroit. It's a weird one because I want to go Detroit, but I can't trust them. If I'm going to get the points for Atlanta, I think they can win this on the road because I don't trust that Detroit defense. What did I just say? So we're going to go to Atlanta plus 3.5 versus Detroit in Detroit. The over 46.5, which is a little bit higher, but these are two pretty high-powered offenses as well. That'll get you $3.40, and I don't mind that a lot because this very much screams to me, oh, well, back Detroit because they should be pretty smashing and like they're really good at the offense. Like, yeah, but are they? Like they had 31 in a loss. They had 21 in the win in KC in week 1. I feel like Atlanta just have like a little bit of solidity about them, and this is the game that Detroit loses by 3. So I'm going to get Atlanta plus 3.5 versus Detroit, the over 46.5, $3.40. They are my two favorite bets for the NFL this week with a couple of doubles. So there you go. Let's go, Stats Guy.
Yeah, okay, Joe, I got another Rate My Multi. They're coming out everywhere today.
Rate my multi.
All right, I love doing a bit of an AFLW one. I think won the first 2 weeks. The last week we only lost by a leg, so hopefully we can bounce back in this one. So starting off with Carlton taking on Richmond. I'm going to take the Richmond Tigers at minus 6.5 here. Carlton, they actually looked really good last week, but it was against West Coast, who I predicted to be the worst team in the competition.
So bad.
Yeah. So I was saying all season how Carlton, they just don't really know how to kick a big score. And then they got 77 against West Coast, but I think they'll drop back down again this week. He got Richmond with Mon Conti and an absolute freak midfield. So I'm going to go Richmond minus 6.5 there. Probably the game of the weekend, North Melbourne taking on Brisbane. I'm going to go North Melbourne just head-to-head against Brisbane. I think it's around $1.75. North lost the last couple of times to Brisbane, but as we mentioned, they've lost a few people in the off-season. North also got a really good win against Geelong last week, even with Shearlaw out, who's one of their leading goal scorers. So I think Shearlaw comes back in, her injury is okay, so their forward line's going to absolutely tear it up. Should be really close. So it should be really close. I think the line's 2.5, so you could probably take that. I'm just going to keep it safe at the head-to-head. Then St Kilda taking on Collingwood. The Saints, they're shocking. They're 0-3. They lost to Port, who only won one game last year. They had a big thing, this big show about how they're going back to their home ground at RSEA Park, and then they
the hell's an RSEA Park?
Where is it again? Not Moorabbin, is it?
Oh, so it's Moorabbin, is it?
Yeah, Moorabbin.
Oh, okay,
sure.
well,
So they had a big thing about going back there, and then they lost to Port. It was pretty bad. So Collingwood minus 11.5. They've just got really good midfield as well. I think that will take over. Then Essendon Freo. This is a bit of a tricky one, but I'm going to take Freo plus 7.5. Kiara Bowers came back last week, who's their best player, Freo, from injury. She's an absolute gun in the midfield. Essendon, they've beaten had a couple of wins, but I think it was against Hawthorn, and they haven't looked at being able to kick a big score. Freo have got a few big forwards down there that can kick a big score themselves, so I think that will be really close. Essendon could win, but Freo plus 7.5. So I'm going to go Richmond minus 6.5 against Carlton, North to beat Brisbane, Collingwood minus 11.5 against the Saints, and Freo plus 7.5 against the Bombers. That's $11.24 for 4 legs.
I really like that.
The lines, I'm trying not to go any more big lines. It's pretty tough. So
I'm just looking. I'm going to back the Swans to win by 1-24 against West Coast at $3. I know West Coast stink. The Swans aren't that great, but they actually put up a pretty good performance last week against Geelong. It wasn't 2 weeks ago against Geelong, and last week I know they got rolled, but there was a lot of good signs there against Brisbane. Like one of the girls had 42 possessions. It was insane.
Yeah, and you got the rising star, Ruckman Morfitt. I think
she's a freak, Morfitt.
She's awesome, man.
Can she play ruck for the Swans?
yeah, the men's team. Yeah, get her in there.
Just don't tell Andrew Bogut. Right, I like that one a lot. I'm going to give that an 8.5 because I think Richmond. I don't mind that line against Carlton. I do like the Collingwood over St Kilda as well. Freo Essendon is a fascinating one, but
that's the hardest one. Yeah,
not bad.
I'm a 7s. I'm just concerned about that St Kilda Collingwood game. I'm all about North beating Brisbane because I've taken on Brisbane big time this year in a bet to not win the flag. So I need them to lose.
Nice.
All right, it's time for everyone's favourite spot on a Friday, the donation.
Donation. This one might actually win.
Donation. The tune of the summer. Alex, take it away.
Missed one leg last week. Brutal stuff. So, as said earlier, we're just going the over tonight in GWS and Collingwood. Don't care who wins. Hopefully it's the Giants. But anyway, we just need the over. Tomorrow night, Lions minus 18.5 and over 169.5 against Carlton. Sorry, Jim. EPL, as mentioned, Brentford, best bet of the weekend. They'll get the job done. My beloved Arsenal, and then Brighton to finish off with our man Phil on the ground. Hopefully they send him home happy.
Yeah, I can't believe he's going there. That's awesome.
I know he was very happy that he didn't sneak across for the Europa League this morning after they lost to
they
AEK
lost.
Athens. And then we'll finish off with some horses. Rosehill, race 4, number 4, Osmosis to win. He's first up from a spell. He's an unbeaten galloper. Looks to be really progressive, like the placement. Loved his barrier trials coming in. And then at Caulfield, race 7, number 2, Vate to place. Really nice horse, but we're just going to take the safety of the place. I do think he can win, though, so we'll have that at the end of this. But just for him to place here, that donation is $98.85. With Vate to win, it's $242.60.
I feel like the donation has to be at least 3 figures, so I might have to go the winner now.
Yeah, it feels like it's a bit like
if you get your bet boost, you'll get like $102.
True, actually, yeah. Good call. I don't mind it though. Yeah, other than the Arsenal one, which I've already made points for. Other than that, I really like it.
Yeah, the Arsenal one is like it would be hilarious. I feel like if Arsenal Tottenham draw. So
that's what I'd
probably change that. I'd probably go Arsenal or draw in that game because I do sort of lean towards Arsenal on that side too. I like the Brighton call, love the Brentford call. Don't know about the Horsies, but that's fine.
Yeah, cool names.
Excellent, good stuff.
Nice.
I'll donate a $5 on that one. I think. See how we go.
We're still in front. If you've had $10 on every one of them, we're still in front.
That's crazy.
We're doing better than Nathan Brown.
Yeah, not hard.
Just don't read The Guardian. Right. That's it for Co-Bet Daily for this week. And today, we'll be back on deck on Monday, of course. We will have an all Brownlow special, I've just decided. Monday's show should be awesome. We might even do a live stream of the Brownlow just on Stats Guy's couch. We'll see what happens. Either way, it's going to be fun. Get around all of our shows. We have the AFL show, obviously a huge preliminary final weekend. You don't want to miss out. The AFL show, the NRL show. A big match week 6, I believe, in EPL. Is that right? 6?
Yeah, correct.
Yep. Big EPL show with Marcus and Alex. We have NBA Australia back in about a month. NFL Australia, though, myself and Gaz crushing that one. And, of course, Lammy and Alex on Hold All Tickets. Mm-hmm. The horse one on Hunters. The horse one.
He sold it expertly.
The horse one. It has horses in it. But, of course, like, review, and star them all, would you? Chuck us a follow across all the Co-Bet socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Threads. And send in any questions via the socials, of course. We'll rate your multi, rate your picks, whatever you need us to do. Not those sorts of picks. That's for Stats Guy. Otherwise, that's a good one. Thanks, Alex.
Cheers.
He also helmed the show during the week while Stats Guy and I were up in the Gold Coast watching some NBL Blitz.
Yeah,
which
thanks
is
for
very
that.
fun. And thank you, Stats Guy.
Thank you.
Thanks, as always, to Gerald for producing this schmozzle. And thanks to me, just because why not? All right. Here's to a big weekend, and here's to a big win.
Yeah, let's go.
By the Baggers.
Come, Jones!
What do we say, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
And also, come the Baggers! We'll catch you next week. Co-Bet Daily, out.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.